What up, what up, what up, everybody? Welcome back to another dope episode of the Crystal Lens Experience. I'm your host, Crystal, aka the Crystal Lens. Now, it's been a little minute, not gonna lie. It's been a little minute since y'all have heard from me. Life has been lifing, but all good things coming, and I can't wait to tell you guys about a few of the things I have coming up. We'll be dropping some more episodes of The Crystal Lens. I have a new show coming out as well, and a lot of great projects coming up. So I will definitely clue you guys in on that in upcoming episodes. But today, you guys know I always got to bring you guys something that is fresh and new and what's going on in the community and making sure that we are on top of, making sure our community feels heard and safe and loved and all that good stuff. So today I have a special guest with me. Her name is Stephanie Renaud, and she is the CEO and founder of Honey Blossoms Events. And she is here to tell us about a really dope breast cancer event coming up this October, actually in a few weeks. All right. So without further ado, welcome, Miss Stephanie.
Hey guys, how are you, Crystal?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's nice to have you on the show, girl.
It's nice to be here.
Yes, your first media experience. I'm glad I got to, introduce you to the media world.
Okay, thank you. I'm
You're
so
so welcome.
excited. This is very new to me, so be patient with me, guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's start off. As most people know, I moved to Florida. I'm in Florida for a little bit. We're in West Palm. And I connected with Stephanie. She and I worked together, and we just got really close. I mean, we met 2.5 years ago at this point, and I don't know. I feel like we sisters at this point. I don't know. What would you say?
That's my sister, baby.
Absolutely. And so, tell us a little bit. Well, before we get into Honey Blossoms, can you just tell us a little bit about you and who you are and how you got into these Honey Blossom events?
Well, first of all, guys, I always say I'm a woman of mystery. The reason being because, you know, um, I basically half of my life I grew up not knowing like my back end story. But the little story I did get was you know, my mom my mom passed away and I was given over to my stepmom, and then my grandfather took care of me. And one thing I admire about him was he always had something he was doing, and that's where it comes from. This man felt like his community was everything to him,
Mm,
and that kept me going. So I lived in New York, and then from New York, I came down to Florida because my grandfather wanted me to have a fresh start. And little after that, he passed away. So I was all alone, and I had to find a way to, I guess, vent, and then also find a way to just, go through it. And
mm,
I started doing little events in school. I went to North Miami Middle. We did Haitian Flag Day. I did a Haitian Flag Day march. I was always a little spicy one. So I
and still are.
I always had to do something because I always stand for a change. And if anybody know, back in the days, in Miami, it was kind of rough, and we just had to stand up for our rights, if that makes sense. And
Mhm.
I went from there, and then I end up going to Aspira North, which was in Miami, and my life did a 360 from there. And I'm thankful for that school because that's when my eyes were open and I knew this is what I want to do.
Mm. And so from I guess, from school to adulthood, and I know you said your grandfather also inspired you to kind of give back to the community and just be of the community. But talk about a little bit as you entered, I guess, into adulthood. How did you continue with these events, and then how did you formally get um, Honey Blossoms events together?
Well, I decided, after I had my son back in 2009, um, I said to myself, at that time I was a single mom, and I said to myself, like the journey doesn't end here.
Wait, hold on real quick, girl. Your phone sounds really low.
Hello?
Better.
Okay.
Keep it like that.
Okay. So back in
So, yeah, rewind a little bit, and yeah, just restart there for us.
okay, so back in 2009, I had my son, and that was my first son, and I was a single mom, and I remember working at Smoothie Kings, and I said to myself, life doesn't end here. You know what I mean? So I became a manager at Smoothie Kings, and I decided to do like little events and stuff within the Smoothie Kings. And people always used to say, you know what, you should do events and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I just do it for fun, because at that time that was my way to vet. And little after that, in 2020, my godmother, which is the closest thing that I have to a mom, I found out that she had cancer. And at that time, it was very difficult to me because you have to understand at the end of the day, it was my grandfather and it was her.
Mhm.
As I told you guys, my mom, I didn't have a relationship with my mom. My mom passed. So it was a lot. So when I found out, I I had to find a way. The only thing I could say was I had to make her legacy continue. So I remember her going through chemo and her losing her hair and just seeing the woman that I once knew just disappear. And I
Mhm.
said to myself, how can I honor her? So I called her one day and I told her, I said, I'm going to make you happy. And she said, you always make me happy. And I said, no, because remember how you always tell me, find a passion, find something that you like and do it. And I said, I always do this events. And she was like, yes. And I always tell you, you have to open up your event business. And I was like, yeah. And you know what I'm going to call it? Honey Blossoms, because her name was Honey. So that's how
Oh,
Honey came about.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So, Honey Blossoms is just honoring her.
Yes.
Uh, I love that. I don't even think I knew that full backstory myself. So that's wonderful. That's a beautiful story. Um, and so here we are. We have these Honey Blossom events. And I guess tell us a little bit how you continue to keep her legacy alive through these events before we get into what we're about to do this month.
Well, she always she was another person that believed in charity work and stuff. And I would go out in the community and I would feed the less fortunate, um, and just give them like little. I would give them like cups with the logo and stuff, and just do different events within the community. Well, I also had it's called Heal Me, so that I can heal others. Because at the time, you have to understand, I had to find something for me to heal as well. And
Mm,
one of the biggest event I had, this was after she passed away, was Heal Me so that I can heal others.
mm,
Because a lot of people are walking around and they never have time to grieve. And they walking around and sometimes they may seem angry, but nobody ever asks, are they okay? Or what made them mad?
Mhm.
What changed? So that event was, it was like a grieving process for me and also a grieving process for the community.
Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. And I love the name of it, right? Cuz you can't heal anybody else, right? You can't be of service to anybody else until you heal yourself. So I love that, heal me so that I can heal others. Um you're so dope. You're just so dope. But I just want to I mean, do you want to just hop right into what we up to now? I mean, I know you've been doing these breast cancer events for how many years has it been at this point? How long have you
At
been?
this point, I've been doing a breast cancer event for, I would say, like about 3 years and a half.
Okay, so talk to us about like the first one and I guess and some of the ones in between and then how do we get to where we're at today?
Well, I have to tell you the backstory of, the breast cancer event.
That's one thing about you, girl. You got a backstory, okay?
I
That's one
always,
thing.
well, if anybody knows me, you will know I love the Lord, and I know the Lord loves me.
Hmm.
Um, Back in, well, about 3 years ago, I was, working hard. At that time, I was working in Einstein, and I was working two jobs, actually working 16 to 18 hours a day.
I'm
And
sorry. You said I'm sorry. You sound a little muffled. You said
oh,
16 to who?
16 to 18 hours between both of the jobs.
A
I was,
day.
yes,
Okay, and then what part do you sleep?
barely.
Girl,
A single mom, you got to do what you got to do. Honey.
child. Okay, so you were
I was a hustle
slanging
mom.
bagels.
Yeah, I was I was working at Einstein, and then also I was working at Wingstop as well.
Mm,
And then I pick up another job too at Yankee Candles. So I was in between three jobs doing my thing. So the point is, like, I never had time where I was off. And
mhm.
but one thing I did make sure was my kids go to church every Sunday. And I remember the lady that came and picked them up every Sunday. She always used to tell me, say, "When are you gonna go to church? When are you gonna have time for God?" And I always, my answer to her was, God knows I love Him. Well, you know how they say, like, when God wants to get your attention, He's
Mhm.
gonna allow certain things to happen.
Mhm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it did. I remember leaving work and I had a stroke. And you have to understand how shocking and how scary that was for me. And having to go to the hospital and these people, nurses and doctors, and just all around me, trying to get me right. And I remember being in the room after the after effect, after receiving service from the hospital and all that, being in the room, and then the only thought that came to my head was, now you have time.
Mm.
So sometimes God will allow certain things to happen
Mhm.
so that He can speak to you. So you have to understand that, like, that day, which was crazy, that day while I was getting ready for work and I was in the shower, I visualized this event, this event that was gonna happen, and
Mhm.
I
What'd you
didn't
say?
know I didn't know what it was. It was just like I just seen all pink, and it was just things in place. And I was like, okay, I never thought nothing of it. But mind you, fast forward, I had the stroke, and then I dreamt about the same event while I was in the hospital. So
Mm.
shortly enough, after I would say like a couple weeks, about a month or so, I started taking physical therapy. The therapist said, you're good. I was
Right.
limping a little, but one thing about me, if anybody knows, I'm hard headed. So I'm gonna push it. You know what I mean? And I started to go to church, and I remember it was a new church, a brand new church, and they was getting started, and then it was closer to October, and I said, can I suggest something? Can we do an event to honor breast cancer? And they was like, sure, sure. And then I told them exactly how I visualized the event. And can you believe that every last thing that drum a drum of was there? Every last thing. It was like God made this event. It wasn't even me. He just
Mm.
used me, and from there it was I just continue. And then, mind you, it also became a passion for me as well, because my best friend, which is my soon to be husband, his mom passed away from breast cancer as well. And like I always say, God has a funny way. You remember how I say heal me so that I can heal others?
Mm-hmm.
Process of me going through what I was going through, I was helping him healing without me knowing what was going on with him. And then it's just a cycle. So I have a lot to tell you guys about this special event that I
I know. I was gonna say that before you get to the special event, the vision alone, I think, is just a beautiful story, right? Like you just being obedient to what God was trying to do through you. And I think that it's just like a beautiful thing to watch as you continue to like grow and develop. Um, so I know, like you said, you've been doing these events for a few years now. And I guess tell us how we got here this year. What's going on this year? What are we doing? What's happening? What's happening?
well, this year, well, how I told you guys I'm a jack of all trades, all right? So I got a lot going on. I was because I do have my own catering company as well, which is Pucci Cuisine. And I was finished cooking, and I sat down on my couch. I was kind of tired, and I just heard brunch. I just heard brunch and in my mind, and I'm like, okay, so what does this mean? And then I realized the month of October was coming. So last year I did a warrior's walk, because I don't like to call my breast cancer survivors just survivors. I call them warriors, because one thing is, whether they won the battle or not, they are warriors, because they stood there in the paint. They stood there through it all. So I decided this year I want to do a warriors brunch, and I found a perfect organization that all the funding will go through. Because you sit down here, and we don't even educate ourselves and know all the help that is within our community. And just to know that this foundation itself is out there, I said I have to do this brunch.
Mm. So tell us about the brunch and then tell us about the organization who's going to receive all of the proceeds from the brunch. So tell us what people can expect.
All right, for the brunch, guys, I have special guests coming through. I have Miss Haiti, entrepreneur. She's coming from all the way from Miami. I have Miss Stephanie Lopez. She is. Oh, I'm sure you know her. Crystal. Who is she to you?
Sure do. Miss Stephanie Lopez is she's a wellness coach and she's actually my personal trainer. and she's a holistic wellness coach, which has been really awesome, because she doesn't just train your body. She also talks about your mind, your spirit, your spiritual health. If you're of faith and believe in God, like we can go into all of that as well. So she's a holistic coach, and the other Stephanie, who's currently talking to us, because we have two Stephanie, Stephanie Renaud, um, brought her on, and she's going to be doing a nice little beginner's yoga flow, with everyone. You don't have to be a professional yogi in order to participate, but there will be a little yoga flow before we get into the brunching festivities.
Yes, 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 yes. And then we also have Chef Jamila coming through. She's coming all the way from Texas. She will be helping with the cooking. We'll have unlimited food, unlimited mimosa. So we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. And then I have some other things coming. I can't give it all to you guys, but just know. And then we got DJ D on the mix as well. So we got a DJ.
Yes, we got the tunes popping, right?
Yep. So I have a lot of surprises. If anybody knows me, y'all know I'm a woman of surprises. I'm gonna have some raffles. So it's gonna be the bomb. Okay.
I hear that. And who's hosting the whole shenanigans?
Oh my gosh. You're one and truly. Oh my gosh. My Crystal.
Hey. Yes, y'all, I will be hosting this event. So while everyone is getting their yoga flow on and getting their music and their shimmy and shake on and their food on and their mimosas and all that good stuff, I will keep the party going and all that good stuff. I'll be bringing you guys, not just, good times, jokes, information, right? But, information about how we can keep ourselves healthy and safe, and just on top of our health overall, so that we can be prepared and combat a lot of things that kind of lead to us being prone to getting cancer, right? Sometimes it is hereditary, meaning it comes from your family, and other times, it could be diet, it could be, your lifestyle and things like that. So we're gonna get into all of that. It's not gonna be doom and gloom, right? We are talking about breast cancer, but we are celebrating the warriors. We are talking about, how we can move and groove differently, how we can make sure we're getting tested regularly, and all that good stuff. Now, Miss Stephanie, what else? I know you got some donations and things like that. What else you got going on before we talk about the organization that's gonna get all the proceeds?
Special guest. They have
Oop, I lost you, girl.
hello.
There you are.
Okay, sorry. So each of the special guests has put something in a special little treat. Um, I know Miss Stephanie, as I was speaking to her, she was telling me that she would do 2 weeks of fitness. You can go to her class. That it would be free. I know also with Pucci Cuisine, which is my catering company. I'm going to give dining for two. Just let me know a month in advance, and I'll hook it up for you for date night.
I love that, love that, love that. So we are going to be out here, doing all the things. Okay, there are raffles that we're gonna be raffling off, like she said. These fitness classes. There's gonna be treats. There's gonna be catering that you can win. All good stuff. I might also throw in, a few things to raffle as well from the Crystal Lens. So you guys have to show up to see exactly what that prize will be.
Hmm.
But most importantly, right? Like we're gonna have fun and all that good stuff, but we're doing this for a reason. We're doing this to raise funds for a good cause. So, can you tell us a little bit about, or a lot, not even a little, tell us a lot about the organization that we are raising funds for this year?
All right. So the organization is called Cancer Alliance and Hope and INC, and they're an organization which, uh, when I spoke to Mr. Doug, that is his name. When I spoke to Mr. Doug, I really got emotional. I was like, Mr. Doug, I was sitting here trying to find back back information of each organization to choose which foundation would I go ahead and make a donation to. But I said when I read your reviews and I read, I went in your page and I did my research, I could do nothing but cry because so many people when they go through cancer are not able to go to work, are not able to keep up with the bills, are not able to, just go on with their daily basic things, groceries, keep electricity and all that. This organization actually helps. They help you with funding for gas cars. They give you funding, they help you paying rent. If you need help with electricity, if you they even assist you with funding to help you with chemo. Like how it doesn't get better than this. And like as I speak, it still gets me emotional because a lot of people don't know that we have this program in this community.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love it. I had gone on their website, when you told me about the organization, and I love that the first thing I saw was their mission, right? Very simple, one sentence: to ensure a future free of financial burdens for cancer patients. Simple, right? Like, the financial burden is usually the biggest thing, like you were mentioning stuff. I mean, whether it's gas for your car, you're trying to figure out how to keep the lights on, you're trying to pay for the rent, you need child care, even pet care,
Yeah,
right? Like all of that. They make sure that their clients are covered. And I was reading here too that they cover at least, over 1,000 patients a year, basically like 1,200 and up per year from all walks of life. So, like you said, there are um, you know, organizations in the community that are doing good work. And what I love about this one too, specifically, is that they're going directly to the people, right? And I know, Steph, you're all about the people. You're definitely
oh
all
yeah,
about, yep, you all about the people. And a lot of, organizations we see out here, they're doing like, cancer research, or, we're doing like, like walks and, all that good stuff, right? And, but research is good, right? Up until a point,
yeah. How
right?
we're helping.
How do you help the people who are going through it right now, right? Research takes time. I have to sit there. I have to research. I have to do studies, all that good stuff. Then I have to analyze my data, then figure out what to do with the data, and then how to help the people. By the time you do all that, we could have lost how numerous people,
Yeah,
right? You don't know, where those people could be, but the Cancer Alliance of Help and Hope, you know, they interrupt that issue, right? They interrupt that financial burden that a lot of families face. And so I was, when you sent it to me, I was like, on point, on point. I love it. I love it. I was trying to find, because me, I like to poke around. I go to every single page of a website. I'm like, all right, let me see, make sure they're really, what they say they are. This isn't, some scam,
I
whatever.
understand.
No, they're the real deal. They are the real deal. I mean, even how they came together, is just, it's a beautiful thing. So, um, yeah, are they gonna be at the brunch?
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. They will be there throughout the whole brunch. And it's so I'm just so excited. As I'm speaking to you guys, tears are coming down my eyes because You don't understand how beautiful this event is going to be. And it's comforting knowing that I have a team that's gonna help me through this. And also, like, if you guys don't know, Crystal is my idol because she makes sure, like, I'm okay mentally and everything, and she pushes me. And the fact that she's here, and like, I thank God for her,
I know.
sister.
I'm telling you, it's only by the grace of God, because Florida was not my first destination. But, I think everything does happen for a reason, and I think the community that you've built and that you've invited me into has really been not just, obviously beneficial to you, like you mentioned, but it's also been beneficial to me as well. And has really helped me, through some tough times, some real tough times. So I'm really excited to not only support this event, but to help host it and to help make sure that everything in the background also gets done as well. So, most importantly, can you tell the people when is the event? What time is the event? Where is it happening? And how do I get tickets?
Guys, listen, listen, listen. October 25th, all road leads to Haverhill Park.
Period.
Haverhill Park, ladies and gentlemen. At 1 p.m., this event will start from 1 to 4. And how you get tickets, you can contact me at 561-310-1642 to get your ticket, or you guys can go to Eventbrite and look for Warriors Brunch.
Period. 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 So that's Haverhill Park, y'all. Make sure you pull up, especially if you're in West Palm Beach, or if you can fly into West Palm Beach. You know what I mean? We'll come get you from the airport, wherever. Make sure
If
you
we
get
have to
down
get
here.
a bus, honey, we'll
We'll get a
get it.
bus. We'll get a bus, baby. Listen, plane, train, bus, whatever we got to do, we'll make sure you get here. Um, like she said, 1 to 4 p.m. Give her a call, 561-310-1642. All right. That's her direct line. Okay. So you can call her, text her, and she will make sure that you get what you need. I will also link the Eventbrite wherever you guys are listening to this. So whether you're on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Play or all the other places this is going to get dropped, I will drop the link in the description as well. So I'm excited for this. Can you tell the people one more time just where the event is? Where do all roads lead to? I like how you said that. Where do all roads
All
lead to?
road leads to Haverhill Park, October 25th at 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. You believe me, this is an event that you don't want to miss.
Period, period, period. I love that. I feel like that's a good ending spot right there, girl. So thank you again. Like she said, I'm gonna reiterate it one more time, y'all. Like she said, all roads lead to Haverhill Park, okay, in West Palm Beach on Saturday, October 25th, 1 to 4 p.m. Miss Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Y'all know I was a little nervous and stuff, but this is such an honor. And I hope to see everyone on the 25th. Once again, 25th, all roads leads to Haverhill Park. I hope you guys are there.
Period, period, period. I love that. I love that. Thank you guys again for tuning into another dope episode of the Crystal Lens Experience. I'm your host, Crystal, aka the Crystal Lens. We will be back when we will be back. You know what I mean? We're going to try and get, on a schedule, y'all, but, we going to get there when we get there. So just bear with me. Bear with me. All right. But until next time, it's been real. It's been fun. And y'all stay well. Y'all stay blessed until we meet again. Peace.
Bye.